Thank you for sharing something of yourselves with me and for allowing me to share something of myself with you. We learned from one another. We created a safe and nurturing atmosphere where we could grow together in spirit and expand together in universal love. Thank you. There are two things I want to leave with you tonight. One is love yourself. And the other is follow your bliss. Loving yourself is my favorite topic for discussion because I believe it is the most important thing a person can do in their life. Everyone, to some degree or another, suffers from self-hatred and guilt. And the bottom line for everyone is, I'm not good enough. That sounds dreadful, doesn't it? But it's true. We all have some aspects of our lives where we don't feel good enough. And there's a reason for this. Statistics state that during our initial learning years, for every positive remark we hear about ourselves, we hear 200 negatives. Now with those odds, we have to do a lot of work on ourselves to reverse the negative trend. The first step toward positive changes is self-approval and self-acceptance now. Loving yourself now, just as you are. And how do we do that? Where do we start? One exercise that I do, and you can try this, look in a mirror directly in your eyes and say, I love you. I am perfect just as I am. I know that sounds stupid because the first time I did that, I really felt silly and embarrassed. But I persisted. And now I am starting to love myself and accept myself just as I am. Notice I said starting. It's a long, hard battle to reprogram yourself. Always be on the lookout for negative thoughts you have about yourself and counteract them with positive thoughts. Find one good thing about yourself and keep reminding yourself about it. Develop it into a little chant and repeat it to yourself as often as possible. For example, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, or, oh, I'm perfect just as I am perfect just as I am. The area in my life where I don't feel good enough is my weight. When I first heard that I was asked to be guest speaker for Grad 89, my first thought was, Marie, you have to lose weight. You're getting as fat as a pig. Now, isn't that terrible? Would we say something like that to someone we cared for? Well, of course we wouldn't. But we say cruel things to ourselves all the time. I took that negative thought right away, and I turned it into a positive. The grads didn't ask me to speak because I was fat or thin or tall or short or because of any other physical feature. They asked me because they wanted me just as I am. Well, I thought, if the grads can accept and love me just as I am now, then I can accept and love myself as I am right now. See how it works? Be as kind to yourself as you would to your best friend. In fact, learn to be your own best friend. Love yourself right now, because when you really love yourself, and I know this, when you really love yourself, everything in your life works. And I'm just beginning to understand that. And the second thought I want to leave you with tonight is follow your bliss. And I can just see your minds now. What's she talking about now? I know I did when I first heard it. And the great scholar and teacher Joseph Campbell explained it so simply. If the work that you do is the work you chose to do, and you are enjoying it, then that's your bliss. Simple. But how many people are following their bliss? How many people settle for second, third, or fourth best because they believe they are not good enough, or smart enough, or talented enough? They're not following their bliss. Grads, find where your bliss is and don't be afraid to follow it. Anything is possible if you can believe in yourself.
Right.
All right. Nowadays, we are so engaged in doing things to achieve outer value that we forget that the inner value, the rapture that is associated with being alive, is what it's all about. Ask anyone who's had a near-death experience. We are conditioned to believe that the new car, a house, a boat, or whatever will bring us happiness. And it may, but it's fleeting. Only by following your bliss can you find lasting happiness. With all the horror stories we hear about what's going on in the world today, life can appear to be a fearful journey, but it can also be a joyful adventure. Living in terms of humanity is living in terms of a system, good or bad, depending upon your approach to the system. Is the system going to eat you up and strip you of your humanity? Or are you going to be able to use the system to human purposes? By loving yourself and following your bliss, you can learn to live in the system as a caring human being. And as a result, the world will be a better place because of it. We can only change the world one person at a time. You know, we all have a small voice inside of us that says, I am me, I am unique. And recently one of my students wrote this little poetic couplet. There is a little somebody found inside of everybody. Now that's the voice, the soul, the force, whatever you want to call it. Listen to the demands of your voice and insist on following your own program. Deny your voice, and you will go through life dissatisfied and unfulfilled. The world is full of people who have stopped listening to themselves. Grads, don't join them. Love yourself and follow your bliss. God bless you, thank you, and I love you just the way you are.
For those very warm and encouraging words, and it doesn't make me feel half so bad about standing up here sweating. Because I love myself the way I am. Each year, the students select one of their own to address them on this most special occasion. And this year, the students have chosen a student who alternately has caused his teachers to pull out their hair or to roll over in fits of laughter. There has never been a dull moment with this student. In the presence of this young man, anything is possible. I give to you the valedictorian of the grad class of 1989, Mr. Dean Thompson.
All right, okay, I've never used a mic before, so just bear with me here, okay? First I'd like to welcome you all, and thank you for coming out this evening, and especially special guests, and mom and dads, and whoever is dear to you. What I have to say tonight is an expression of thanks and love on behalf of the grad class of '89. Over the past 18 years, we have learned a great many things, but most importantly, we have learned some rules. The how-tos of happiness. Like yourself, as Mary was saying. For if we don't start with ourselves, how can we make others happy? Be yourself. Be an individual. I stand before you as an individual, but I am only a part of the whole. Another important rule to happiness is to not sell yourself short, because as surely as the most insignificant creature plays a role, so do you. And grads, each of you as an individual plays a part in the whole. The fourth how-to of happiness is to give of yourself. The golden rule is very clear on this. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. For 18 years, we have grown and learned and now feel that we can make a contribution and give of ourselves as you have given to us. To bring each of these points home, I would like to draw a comparison between each of the how-tos of happiness and throwing a pot, as pottery is my obsession. Okay, I got some real neat stuff down here. All right. This lump of clay can only be crystallized into a pot if someone pugs it and wedges it. If we do not like ourselves, if you are not satisfied with yourselves, this lump of clay will remain as is. It will remain incomplete. When the clay is like this, you must express yourself. You must be yourself. As you lean over the wheel, your fingers become an expression of you. As graduates, we have moved through... Oh, missed a line. Oh, all right. Okay. As graduates, we have moved through the grades and began to form and take final shape. Along the way, we may have wobbled or torn. But you were there, Mom and Dad, to collar us and put us back into line. You didn't leave us at the greenware stage. Whoa, which is this stage, right here. Okay. Nor must we. You never sold us short, and grads, we must never, ever sell ourselves short. In the last few years, and I know it's been hard, Mom and Dad, and I speak for all of us here, you have put the glaze on us and fired us. Hopefully not right out the door, but we know we're not perfect. We may have had a run in the glaze, we may have had a few cracks, but you did not judge. You loved us just the same. We must not judge either. But even if the pot is as good as it can be, even if we are all that we can possibly be at this stage of our lives, it is not enough, and we must continue to improve and grow. And grads, I hope that life is good to you and that you don't get knocked off the shelf. May your chips and cracks be few, and a safe and happy future to all of you. The rule of happiness, the golden one, I want you to relate to this pot. This pot is something that makes me happy, but true happiness is to be shared. So graduates, I ask to give of yourself and share yourself, as I wish to share mine. Mom, this is for you.
At this point, we'd like to call upon Natasha Wasalenta, Kim Kilpatrick, and accompanied by Darla Stevens in the singing God Save the Queen. We are now ready for the grads to have the recessional, and if we could have the middle aisle cleared, as that's where they will be walking, we'll be just about ready to begin.